Hi everyone, welcome. So glad to have you this evening. So I've been working on a couple little projects and I will show you what I've been working on. First of all, before anything, I want to thank you so much for all my new subscribers. I am planning on doing a small giveaway at 550 subscribers. So stay tuned for that. I haven't worked out all the details, so I won't say anything quite yet. Additionally, I wanted to tell you about some really cool digitals that Kim Newberg has just recently released. Now, the reason I love these digitals is because we're going into, if you're in the US, the time change, we're going into a darker time of the year. It gets darker early. We don't get to spend as much time outside. And then, of course, the weather changes to colder weather and the leaves fall and everything just looks kind of drab and dark until, of course, it snows, and then the snow is so beautiful. But what I wanted to share with you were some digitals that Kim just recently released. Some of these are on her Kofi site, which is always listed in my description. And additionally, she has some Facebook groups that I will list as well. And she will give you free digitals on the Facebook group as well. So the reason I love these is because I was thinking of the bright colors and how beautiful they came out. The butterflies are always very, very popular in junk journaling. These are hummingbirds, which are just so sweet, and the roses, and I think they came out lovely as well. And then additionally, I have another page of butterflies, which I have used some of these already, and I will show you how I use them. And we'll use, I think I'm going to try to use the hummingbirds this evening. So let me just set those aside and show you some of the things that I've done with her digitals. So I mentioned to you that the blue page I've already used, and I've made 3 just jumbo tags. I printed these out on regular copy paper, and then I backed them onto some harder cardstock or scrapbook paper that I had. And she also has a sheet of these beautiful butterflies, and you can cut those out and add them on all different projects, but I added mine as the toppers for these, and I think they came out beautifully with a little bit of the cream seam binding. So if you're looking for some tag options, the way she creates her digitals, she leaves a very, very narrow space in between the designs. So you get full use of your page, and not only that, they're the perfect size for a large tag. So you can just trim them out, and if you want to get this set that has the butterflies and use them as a topper, you can do that as well. So that's what I have done with one set of hers. She also has some little girl images, and I picked out this one. This is an old book that I found, and this is a story of King Alfred and the cakes, and I'm sure it has to be a cute story. I haven't actually read it yet before I tear the book up. But this is just a flower I found in my stash that's made out of netting, and put this together as a cute little tag. They're backed on to some harder cardstock papers. So the reason I showed you this one as well as these, you can make these little tags, stick them in an envelope, and send them out to friends or family. And wouldn't that be so pretty to open an envelope and just see one of these beautiful cards or tags tucked in with a little note. Now, Kim has developed a new movement. It's called the Happy Mail Movement. So some of the things that I will show you in my videos will be some of the things that you can stick right in that envelope and send it out to whoever you want to. And you are not using any more than what a standard stamp would be, because these are not very heavy at all. So let's think about the Happy Mail movement. I did a video on this before, and you will continue to hear about it. And if you want to send me an envelope, I will send you one back, and it doesn't have to be an envelope made out of anything in particular. If you have old wrapping paper, if you have even some wax paper that you can maybe stamp on, if you have some magazines that have thicker pages, or you might have to glue a couple pages together because you don't want it to rip in the mail. Construction paper is good. Even some of your junk mail that you get, you can cover with construction paper or wrapping paper or any kind of paper you have handy, and then you can send that out as an envelope as well. So if you would like to participate in that, everybody is welcome. Send me an envelope and I will send you one back. And it's just a great way to get a lot of people involved in something that's artistic and creative and that we will all enjoy. So those are the little tags that I've been making. Doesn't take that much skill, but I wanted you to see how beautiful some of the images and designs that Kim does have can really make your art pop. So what I have in front of me here are 3 envelope designs that I have made, and I will briefly go over each of the designs so you can see how they are put together, and then we'll make one together as well so you can see. I've been building an ephemera stash, so these are some things that can go right into my ephemera box. And then when I need to put a journal together, I have all these bits and pieces that I can clip in or glue in or sew in or whatever I need to do. So the first one is just a little tiny envelope, and it's not very big at all. But I think sometimes the smaller things are just as sweet as the larger ones. I like working in smaller spaces. And what I did with this is I used one of the butterfly images that are along the side here, because they're almost the perfect size for a stamp. And some stamps are this size, actually. So I used that and put a stamp. This is just a little piece of washi tape. And then I inked it up, and I cut the flap so it's in more of an envelope style. This is just straight and bent over, so not a big deal there, and that makes a cute little piece. And I put some lace and a little piece of velvet ribbon just here to kind of make the pocket cute. So that's one that I have made, and wouldn't that be so dear to just get in a little package from someone and fill it with a couple stickers, or even some of these little butterfly stamps. Anything that they could use in their art that doesn't weigh very much is a perfect thing to send out to a pen pal or someone who has sent you an envelope. You can send one back and you can add one of these cute little pieces in it. So that's envelope number one. Very easy, fold and put together. The second envelope that I designed, this is the original design. I had these clips on it because I wanted to make sure everything glued down well. But this is an envelope and a pocket and a tuck spot and a notebook kind of all in one. So what I did with this is I have a lot of 12 by 12 paper. So this is the actual template, but it was so nice that I just went ahead and kept it as my as one of the examples. But the first, when you open it up initially, you have this piece right here on the flap that is perfect for you to tuck in a little note or a sticker or a tag or whatever you'd like. Here is there's just 1, 2, 4 pages. So you get 8 pages of journaling spot. And I just did a little 2-hole pamphlet stitch for that right along the spine. You lift that up, and then right here you have a gusseted pocket. Oops, kind of like a file folder. My glue hasn't been wanting to stick today, so this is like a file folder. And then here we have one more pocket where you can put some goodies in it. Then if you flip it over on the back, you have an additional pocket on the back where you can put some things as well. And then I just put a hole here, and you can just kind of wrap this around to close it if you want to, or you can make some other fancy closure that you like. So that is design number 2. And then design number 3 is similar to design number 2, with the exception that some parts of it are done a little bit differently. So it still has the gusseted file folder pocket here. The pocket on the front, though, is done in a V shape, sort of like a normal envelope would be. And you can put things right in here. On the back, you have a flap as well that you can put items in. And then on the flap itself, instead of putting a tuck spot, I put a little belly band. So you can put your other little pieces you might have in here. So you can put something here, you can put something here, here, and then of course here. And then on the front, I just made a closure with the butterfly. You can put a little piece of Velcro on there if you want to, or you can punch a hole right in the middle of the butterfly's body and then put a brad and then some seam binding, whatever you want for a closure. But those are the 2 designs that I came up with that I thought were great for journals. This one as well, and actually this one is so cute that you could even stick it in the back of one of the other ones. So I just love these. I think they're fun to make, and fun to add to our journals. So let me show you how I make them. Now, I'm going to actually use one of the images that Kim has, and we'll see how that turns out, because sometimes when you're folding an image like this, you get, sometimes it's upside down or not right side up. So let me cut these out real quick so they'll be cut out nice and smooth. And I'm going to cut right in the middle here. Okay, great. Now, this one I like. This one I made sure that when I cut it, I didn't really have any white showing, because I don't want that extra, I don't want that that white border. So if you look at this one, I did leave a little bit of a white border, and I inked it so you don't really notice it as much, but I think it looks better if you don't have the white border. So let me go ahead and trim this other one out, because I'm going to need it as well. Okay. So we have these two. And I'm going to start with this one. So what we want to do is when we fold this up or fold this down, we want to make sure that the hummingbird is going the correct way. Okay. So with this particular piece, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little white edge, about a 1/2 inch or so, not a whole lot, and just turn it in. And I want to turn it in because this is going to be the top of one of the pockets. And when you're moving things in and out, that edge can get kind of bent or even torn. And when you double this over on the side, you get a much sturdier reinforced opening there. So then I'm going to fold this up, let me see, about that much. Now, because I don't really measure, what I am trying to design here is something that looks like an envelope, okay? And so this will go down the top. Now I am going to cut this white part off. That way I have no white border to show. Okay, so the way we cut this then is we have this really pretty image here, and then if we fold this over, we get this really pretty image here. Okay, so here is the base design. Now, if you want to take a corner rounder and round your corners, you can do that. And it just kind of gives it a little bit of a finished look. Now we want to open this up so you can see how this particular space looks. Okay, so it's lengthwise, it's 10 inches. It's actually 10.5 because I used a 1/2 inch fold right there. Okay, so here we go with the front, and isn't that beautiful? And what will happen is this part will be covered up, so you won't have to worry about seeing that that divided line there. Okay, so now that I have that, I need to cut one of, actually, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use just a piece of cardstock that I have over here. I think I have some, oh no, those have butterflies on them. Okay, here's some white cardstock. And what I want to do is I want to measure with this white cardstock. I want to know how big this size is here. So for me, this is how I measure. So I'm going to take my pen and I'm going to mark here and I'm going to mark here. And then I'm going to take my cutter and just trim this. And I try to trim it inside the line because I don't want it to come out too big, which is not going to make a whole lot of difference here because I'll show you what we're going to do. Okay, so we have this piece and we know that it's the same size as the center. We want to make sure it's the same size as this bottom piece down here. Now what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to fold it in half. So I know where I need to cut it. And I'm going to cut it right on that line so that I have two pieces now that are the same height as the body of my envelope. And they are, let's see how many inches wide. So they are 1.5 inches wide, basically. So now what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take the cardstock and I'm going to fold it like you do a fan, like this. So if you're familiar with when you were a little kid and you kind of made a fan and you have the bottom piece, you fold the other piece on top of it and then the other piece the opposite way. So you have kind of like a little accordion thing here, okay? So we'll do that with this one. We'll fold it over once, turn it, and fold the other piece back on itself like that. So you get these little pieces, okay? Now, what we want to do with this is we want to take our glue and we're going to run some glue right down here. And we are going to lay this down onto our envelope nice and smooth, okay? And then we can bend the other part over after it glues well. I just want to make sure it glues so that it stays nice and together. You can put the glue on either this or, you know, whatever you need to put it on. However you need to put it, I mean. And then I'm just going to do the same thing over here. Just make it so that it'll stick. And I'm going to clip this one and clip this one and let it dry. It should be dry pretty quick with this glue. Now, if you do have a glue gun, that's fine. You can use a glue gun. That works just as well. Okay, now I'm going to take, we should glue this flap down. So while I'm gluing, I'm going to go ahead and glue this flap down because I want it to stay down when I adhere it to the sides. Okay. Now I'm just going to take this and bend it up. And fold it down. What happened here? Oh, this one moved. Don't move on me, darling. Okay. So now we have this nice envelope right here. And as you can see, it has a gusseted side to it. And that's kind of like a file folder, or I just call them a gusseted pocket. It's not, doesn't have to have a fancy name. So that's the inside of our design, okay? And then we have this, and we could stop right here, and we could just use this gusseted pocket, attach this to a page in our journal, and have just a nice little pocket. Or we can take it a step further and use one of the other images that we have. And I'm going to use this one right here at the bottom. So let me trim it so that I don't have any white. There we go. Now on this one, actually I'm going to trim this down just a tiny bit more because I don't want that much space at the top. Okay, so now with this one, I'm just going to fold it in half. Okay. Now when I fold it in half, I get another hummingbird here. And on this side, I get the floral image. Now it's hard when you're using this one piece to get everything going the same direction. But if you use it, or even if you used it like this would be pretty too. Then you would have a hummingbird on the back. I kind of like it like that with the roses. So after you do that, you just cut this piece. What I'm going to do to show you how to cut the envelope piece, let me do it on the white side. So I know that this is 3 3/4, so one somewhere around here is going to be the middle. So I'm going to go from the very corner to the dot, and then the very corner to the dot, okay? And then what that does is it gives me a place to cut this so that it looks like a standard envelope opening. And I'm going to trim that off. And then when I put this down here, you could almost see that it matches. Now it definitely needs to be inked up a little bit, and the only dauber that I have at the moment is blue, but it'll be okay. I just want to make sure you guys can see it, and I think the blue is pretty anyway on this yellow. So I'm going to ink this up, especially this part. I want to get this nice and clarified there. You can ink the where it bends to if you want. That's up to you. And I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to put it on top of the bottom. Now when I do that, I need to put a little bit of glue right here and a little bit of glue right here. And then close this tightly. Can use our clips again if we need to. And then what we have here is a little pocket that's on top of our gusseted pocket, okay? Now on the actual flap of the envelope, we can take this piece however we want to do it. I'm gonna see if I can cut it so that we can get most of the hummingbird in it. And don't throw away those little pieces that you cut off, because you will probably be able to use those again, either for a tag or something else on your pocket. So let me see if I cut this the right size. Yes, it'll be the right size, because actually what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to cut it with that triangle shape as well, so that we get a triangle here, and then it should still be, maybe I should trim a tiny bit off the bottom yet. Okay, so then we just get our ruler and find the middle somewhere here, and then just make sure you go from the point to the dot, because you want it to be a more shallow cut. And that way if you can see here, I'm not going to cut into the hummingbird. And that's what I wanted, so that it can still show on the other side of the pocket. So if I put this on here like this, and then round the corners, I think it should be okay. Now I'm only going to, on this one, I have to glue the bottom and the sides. And then I'm going to stick this right on here. Add a paper towel here. I get a little extra glue where I didn't want it. Okay, so this is going to go down like that. And then what I'm going to do, if you see here how the points are still sticking out, once that glues well enough that I can put it into my hole punch, then I'll do that. So now on this one, I have to glue down this side and this side. Okay, and as you can see, by doing that, it covered up that seam. Okay, there's a little bit of glue right here. If you get extra glue in it, sometimes your pockets don't want to open, or, you know, just try to keep that as cleaned up and as neat as you can. Okay, I'm going to cut the corners right here. Go. And then, as you can see, it is flush with the flap, and you still have a place where you can stick some little goodies in there. You have your gusseted piece right here, and then you have your other envelope here, and then you have your other envelope here. And then you can trim this with a little bit of lace if you want to, or add other things to it. Now, if you look at this as it is here, do you see we have a little gap here? I'll show you how we're going to fix that. So you can use some of your offcuts that you saved, and you can make yourself like a little tab to put right here, or, which I think is what I'm going to do. I was thinking of maybe using a butterfly, but I think it'll be, I want everything to be, pardon me, hummingbirds on this one. Did I have another? So what I'll do is I will cut, that piece is I'll cut this lighter piece. I'm just going to cut the white off of this mainly, and then cut it down a little bit more. And then I'm going to fold this in half, just like this. And make sure that when you adhere it, you don't stick it on top of your top flap, or you're not going to have that cute design on there. So let me just glue one side at a time. And then you would glue this inside part as well. So here you go. Here is a really, really pretty pocket with some of Kim's images. And we'll just go ahead and ink this up really good. So if there is any white showing from the actual cutting of the pieces, we won't notice it as much. And I'm going to do this on this side too, so when you open it, it won't look so stark white in there. And there you go. You have this beautiful pocket with the hummingbirds, using the digitals in a way that really is fun to add this cute little pocket design to your journal. Now, that is the basic design. What I was meaning about this particular one, on this one, what we did is, instead of putting a pocket here, we put a belly band, which you can do that. So that's why I said keep all your little snippets, because we could actually put a belly band right on top of this one if we wanted to, but it would cover up the hummingbird. And this one, I need to glue that one a little bit better, but this one has the butterfly and then the butterfly for the closure. So, and then the pocket here can fit the little tiny envelope. So the differences as far as the pockets themselves go that make them kind of interesting and they stand out differently is when you do things like this cut here, this cut here. I could have even done one of those on this if I wanted to. My thumb punch is not working, but I could put just a thumb punch right here instead. On this, I don't know, did I use every single page of the, I think I did. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. What I was going to say is you could even do something fancy, like adding a button here, or a brad, or a piece of a doily, or anything you wanted to add here that might make this piece a little bit more interesting to use as a closure. You could even probably go so far as to maybe tuck it. I'm not sure if that would work. It buckles a little bit if you're going to tuck it, but there is a great way to close it. If you want to add some papers to it, this is the place where you would add those papers. So you would cut just a few that would fit within that space, and then just do either an elastic. You can do a piece of elastic right here, or you could do a piece of seam binding to hold them in. Let me see if I have any blue paper handy that I can show you an easy way to add that in. Here's a nice piece. We'll just use this piece and fold it in half, and then we'll have to fold it probably 3 times. Make sure it's folded even. And then fold it again. Let me just make sure it fits without sticking out. It would be a little bit long. Okay, so let me trim this right here along this line. And if we wanted to stick this in here like this, is it still too long? No, it's okay. Ah, I see what the problem is. Okay, let me trim it this way. I don't know if my corner punch will work with something that thick, so I'm just going to cut it on an angle. And then I think, let me see what color seam binding I want. I think this is a pretty color. This is kind of a peachy color, but we could just take the papers with the seam binding and we can close it like this. And I will cut this right here, and we can make a cute little bow somewhere here. Now, if you want to glue this down so that your papers don't come out, you can. You can also use a stapler to put your papers in. I don't have a big enough stapler that will accommodate that whole space, so I can't use a stapler, but I ordered myself one, so hopefully it'll come soon. I used to have one for years. I mean, I had one for years and years when I worked, and I kept it, but I don't know if I still have it or if it ended up somewhere else. I have so much stuff in storage, I just need to get it out because I'm paying for storage that I don't need to pay for. What in the world? I can't make a bow tonight. Sorry, guys. So here is the way you can add the paper. See how I told you if you do a bow upside down that it looks the right way. So then you could just you know, kind of, you can glue this to, or you don't have to. It looks nice just like that. and then close it. And there you go. And it needs something on this. I wish I had, actually, let me see what a piece of this would look like on it. I don't know if it's really the same color scheme, but oh yeah, that would look beautiful on it. So let me put that on there. That way it's not that. And this peach goes with the seam binding. Very, very cute. Let me just take this little piece off. There we go. So there is our hummingbird envelope for your journal. Isn't that beautiful? And then on the back, this part's upside down, but that's okay. And opening it up, everything is going the right direction. When you, and what I was mentioning is if you don't want to put this back layer on, you can just put your front layer here, and then you can adhere this to the inside of your journal if you want to. I just have, this was a cover I did not too long ago. So you could even attach it like this so that, you know, it's fixed, or you could take a paper clip of some type, and you can actually use it this way if you want to, and put your things in sideways and things in sideways here. But I think they just look really cute. So I hope you enjoyed this little project using some digitals, and you can get all these beautiful digitals either by being a member on the Kofi shop, or some you can download for free, or some that you can purchase. Kim, look what I found. I'm going to put this on this little stand that Kim made, and that is just so precious. And I think it came out really gorgeous. I hope she likes it. And you have fun with your digitals and creating a beautiful project for your journals. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for spending some time and listening to my ramblings of my creative ideas. I've been working on this for a day or two to make sure it would turn out properly, so I think it was successful. And if you have any questions or concerns, hit me up. My email is in the description box as well. Also, the Happy Mail movement, don't forget that. If you're in, send me a message, and I will be happy to get your envelope ready. And I hope you all have a great night. Bye for now.